So this video is going to deal with a little tip, a trick, or hack, I should say, for when you're applying for jobs. It will deal with, it deals with pros.com, which is, once again, the main translation website for finding translation jobs. Chances are at some point you're going to deal with pros.com. And when you do, when you're looking for translation jobs, and you go here, you'll see this is what it's going to look like. You can put in your language combination and then search for jobs. And they're all going to be listed here. And you have some preliminary information here, but then when you click on it, you get a bit more information. So let's click on it here. And we can see we get the title, and we see, the language combination, job description, et cetera, et cetera. And at the very bottom, this is not always the case, but very often you'll see sample text. And usually it says translating the text is not required. And it's just to give you an idea. Now, I do this, by the way, all the time when I post jobs. I show a sample of the text, and I try to take a bit, kind of a harder part of the text, and then I say translating this text is not required. The reason I do this is I want everyone to be able to see what the text is like, so there are no surprises when they actually get the full text to translate and when I assign the translation to them. I want them to have a good idea. I give kind of a harder part of it just so the translators know that, they know if they can handle that, they'll be able to handle the whole translation. That's basically why I do it. So anyway, usually see this. By the way, sometimes when you get it, you'll see something like this. Applicants must translate the following text, in which case, obviously, when you apply for the job, you have to translate the text along with your application. And if you don't do that, you just wasted your time because they're not going to give you a job. In fact, that's usually when they say they must translate the following text, that's the easiest litmus test they have. The easiest way to weed out people. If you have 20, 30 people here, 49 people apply for this job, I bet you at least 20 of them did not translate this text. It's so weird, but so many of them don't do that just because they're used to copying and pasting their standard letter, and they think that that'll actually do something for them, which obviously it won't. And so these people get weeded out right away. So you have to at least translate the text when it says applicants must translate the following text. However, very often you'll have a sample text and it says translating this text is not required, as we saw here as well. Now, so I did this. When I was applying for jobs, I did this, and it worked quite well for me. I'm surprised that when I post a job for other people to apply to, that so far, no one has yet done this. And what I would do is I would say, they'll have a sample text and say translating the text is not required. And I'll write, I'll have my usual application and say, this is what I am, this is what I do, etc. And then I'll say, if I were to translate your sample text, this is how I would translate it. ... Go to the next line, and then I give a translation of these two sentences, whatever it is. And usually, this is short. It doesn't take that long. And so it won't take me that long to do it. And it gives them an idea that, yes, I can handle the task, and this is how I would handle it. And so right away, they know that I can do it. And as I said, it worked well for me. I don't know if this was the one thing that made them hire me, but I know I've done this a couple times and gotten the job. So I would recommend doing it, because why not? It really doesn't take that long. And if you're going to apply for a job rather than just copying and pasting, if you're going to take it seriously, you might as well take it seriously and actually do that much more. Show that you can go above and beyond and actually translate the text. Now, say you have a text like this, which is a bit longer. Well, here you must translate it, so there you have to do it anyway. I mean, it's not. Sometimes you get really long texts. This isn't that long either. But say it's a bit longer. You don't want to translate the whole thing. You can always say, if I were to translate your sample text, this is how it would start off, or something. And then you just translate until here. Say, this won't take very long. You just translate until this. Put ... and then that's it. And so once again, here maybe just translate the first part. And say, if I were to translate your sample text, this is how I would translate the first line. And then you just translate this part as part of your application. And this will be a great way to just stand out from the crowd. And it shows that not only you can apply and you can write coherently, but you can go above and beyond. And you're able to translate it and you're able to handle it. And so, yeah, as I said, this has worked for me. And I think it's a little bit of a help that could probably work for you. Whenever you see translating text is not required, that's an opportunity for you to stand out and to do stuff that other people won't do. Other people who don't want to go through the work, who don't want to go above and beyond. And it kind of shows you that what type of person you are, and that you are willing to go above and beyond, I guess. So anyway, I thought hopefully you can find this useful as an extra thing to do when you're applying for jobs on pros.com.